What up, everybody? It's your boy Sack the King up in this motherfucking man. As y'all can see from the title, Pdiddy trial starts today. Hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow. Now, I read all of the statements that was made in these opening arguments by the prosecution, by the defense. They both had, opening statements that they made, laying out their cases or whatever. Then they called witnesses. The prosecution called 2 witnesses. Cassie is supposed to be one of these witnesses to testify at some point in this trial, even though she got a $30 million or more payoff. We know it was 30 mil at the least. You need to just go somewhere, bruh. And I'm going to get off into this in a second. You know what I'm saying? First of all, let's start with the first witness. This is a LAPD cop who was called to the scene. His name is, I wrote it down, Israel Flores. He was there that day that you seen P. Diddy beating up Cassie in the motherfucking hotel room. Now, they have all his police report and everything. And the prosecutor, Brian Steele, is one of P. Diddy's lawyers, all right? He got Teeny Garagos, who is, her dad is like a famous lawyer, what's his name? Mark Garagos, who represented people like, I want to say Michael Jackson, Lil Durk, before, just a whole, go look up Mark Garagos, you're going to see his client list. He's a famous lawyer, but I guess this is his daughter, okay? So she's a pit bull in the skirt too. Then he got Brian Steele, my nigga. Brian Steele. Y'all know who Brian Steele is? Oh, you forgot? He got Young Thug off all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Young Thug took the plea, but, you know, Brian Steele did his thing. The nigga that's willing to go to jail for his client, man. Shout out to Brian Steele. You feel me? And so he's got some high-powered lawyers, man. He's got some lawyers with a proven track record who can definitely do the job on breaking down some of these witnesses and getting to the bottom of some of this shit, right? But in this cross-examination, okay, so in the, examination by the prosecution, the guy was stating what happened. He said that he didn't see, P. Diddy hit her or anything like that, but he can tell that something had happened. And then he went back and watched the tape, and he actually made 2 recordings with his phone of this shit so he can show his wife. He admitted that shit in court. First of all, that might be a violation of something. You feel me? Like, especially if you're doing it for a personal use and not for an open investigation. That made that nigga look so stupid and less credible. And they were poking holes into his initial statement of what happened and his story now on the stand. You know what I'm saying? And some of that shit wasn't matching up. You feel me? He said Cassie left on her own. She didn't want to file no police report. She just left on her own. And that was pretty much it. He said Diddy tried to bribe him with some money. He didn't take it, but he did go back and make video recordings just to show his wife of these videos. You know what I'm saying? That we all seen, that it came out. So people was wondering where it came from. It probably came from this motherfucker trying to get a bag or something and sent it to TMZ or CNN or whoever. You feel me? Which is not looking good for his credibility or his character as a character witness or a star witness for the prosecution. Okay. Then you got Daniel Phillip, who was a male escort who was a part of these freak-offs that testified today for the prosecution. He's their witness, right? He's their witness. He testified that Cassie is the one that used to pay him. He never received any payments from Diddy ever. All the times that he fucked on Cassie, Cassie is the one who pursued him and the one who paid him. Never took anything from Diddy. Matter of fact, he said Diddy was trying to act like he wasn't Diddy the first time they ever met. He was sitting in the corner jacking off in a robe with a New York Yankees hat on and a bandana, but he knew the nigga voice. Who doesn't know that nigga voice? Then they said, under cross-examination, they was like, did he force you to pee on Cassie? And he said, no. He said, no. Actually, Cassie is the one who requested that she get urinated on. And the only thing Diddy said was don't pee all over, like make it go and like, I don't even want to repeat all this shit, but this is just for context, okay? Don't just piss all on her like a regular piss. Like you got to do it in squirts or whatever, bro. Y'all can go read the shit. But it just makes me think like, Like, this is the prosecution's witness, and he's describing other sexual encounters that they had where Diddy was like, "You ain't got enough baby oil," but he said he's seen Cassie, he's seen P Diddy drag her by her hair one time when she wouldn't come quick enough when he asked her, not come like fucking come, like come here quick enough when she was on a computer and he was in there too, and he grabbed her by her hair, and he said that's when he decided he didn't want to have nothing to do with it. And then he tried to tell Cassie like, "Hey, this guy's gonna kill you or something," and she was like, "Nah, I'm like, we good." And then she got rid of him, he said, herself. But she was the one that always paid, and she was the one that contacted him. Diddy, he didn't lie on Diddy's name. He said, and I believe everything he said, because he did say that Diddy grabbed her by her hair and shit and was instructing him what to do with her. But he specifically said he never received any money from Diddy. She's the one that contacted him, yada, yada, yada. So that doesn't make Cassie look good at all. And Diddy is pretty smart by doing that. He probably was thinking 10 steps ahead. Like, if this ever come back on me, shit, I ain't the one that set this shit up. Which makes the prosecution's case for prostitution and, transporting, sexual acts and all that shit kind of look kind of flimsy, because this is the way that he's describing it is Cassie's the one that paid for all this shit. Yes, we know where the money came from, bro. We ain't nobody stupid. But it ain't what you know, it's what you can prove. You feel me? And a lot of this shit sounds like, yeah, this nigga Diddy's a freaky ass nigga. But did he do anything criminally? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, do I believe all this shit that he did? Yes. But it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. You feel me? You gotta still be found guilty in a court of law by a jury of your peers. You feel me? And some of them jurors that they was releasing today, hey, honestly, 2 of them sounded like they would have voted not guilty for him. That's probably why they was dismissed. You know what I'm saying? But all it takes is one person not to agree, and that shit can go into a mistrial. Personally, the way that it's sounding, if they keep having testimony like this, and Brian Steele and Teeny Garagos keep cracking holes in these people's testimony, and they start really painting a picture like this was a money play, because they did bring up the fact that Cassie threatened Diddy to give her $30 million or else she was going to go public with this. Not only did Diddy pay her the $30 million, but she still went public with the shit. So, but it sounded like she was a willing participant, which I always agreed with as well. You don't stay 10 years with somebody as a hostage like that, bro. You don't. Not without any kind of willingness. And I'm not excusing or condoning anything that he is accused of or that we don't know that he has done. Yes, I think that this woman has suffered some kind of trauma. But everybody plays a role in every decision that they make in life. We all play a role in every situation that we have in life, okay? If you're selling drugs in the streets and somebody snitches on you, how mad can you be when you was doing something that gave a reason why somebody would snitch on you? Not to say that they're right, but hey, man, that's what comes with being in the streets, okay? When you're with somebody for 10 years and you're enjoying all these luxury items, trips, your parents is getting taken care of, they got houses, you got houses and apartments and shit, and you're allowing this for 10 years, and then all of a sudden when you get tired of it, like 10 years is a long fucking time, bro. Think about how much a person, 10 years is a long time, bro. That's a whole decade, that's a whole generation. So you stayed with this man for a whole generation, and you are the one initiating sexual acts like that on yourself, and this guy doesn't have no reason to lie. She's the one that said, do this shit. So we're going to sit here and paint Cassie like such a victim, which, yes, she is a victim to an extent to me, okay? Especially listening and reading some of these transcripts, all right? It's not looking too good for her not being somewhat of a willing participant. I can see if this would happen for a year or 2 or maybe even 3, 10 years, my nigga. 10 years? Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Come on. Ain't no dick that good. Ain't no money worth that much. Like Cassie, yeah, you was young when you met that nigga, but 10 years? Like after 5, you didn't mature? Like, I don't know. I'm not blaming her. But I will say she is somewhat, she has to hold herself accountable and responsible for the role that she played in this, being with this man for 10 years and accepting all of the things that come with being with this man. And then all of a sudden, when you get done, you want to try to extort him for $30 million years later, after you already went and fucked the personal trainer and married the nigga and had 3 kids by him that he hired for you to get you right. Like, your arguments, like, it ain't, they poking holes in her argument left and right. Again, I'm not saying that this woman hasn't gone through no trauma. I'm not saying that at some point she probably was a hostage of this man, but for 10 years, come on. And then there's people, the prosecution's witnesses is over here putting some of this shit on you, and they ain't got no reason to lie on this man because they're the prosecution's witness. They ain't got no reason to protect this man either. You feel me? So I think I'm honestly, if this shit keeps going like this, I think Diddy's going to beat this shit. I think he's going to beat this shit. He's facing 15 to life, right, for these charges. Running a criminal enterprise. They got to prove that. Sexual trafficking for prostitution. They're poking holes already in that story because he's never made any kind of transaction. They can't prove that he made any kind of transaction, but they can prove that Cassie was the one giving money to him. You know what I'm saying? But I think Diddy might beat this shit, or it might end in a mistrial. I really honestly think that Diddy might beat this shit and that it might end in a mistrial, and I'm going to tell you why. Because already reading this shit, it ain't looking too good. It's raising questions of reasonable doubt. You feel me? Yes, this nigga's a freaky ass nigga. Yes, he's a woman beater. Yes, he's a lot of bad things. But that doesn't make him guilty of these charges, okay? We already know he beat women, okay? She should have filed police reports for all that. You cannot go back and charge a nigga for some shit that happened 12 years ago. He beat her up on camera. Like, all right, like, you know, maybe they can. I don't know. But the shit that they're trying to hit him with is not that shit. They're not hitting him with abuse or no shit like that. They're trying to get him for racketeering, running a criminal enterprise, and prostitution, trafficking and shit. You know what I'm saying? But this is the thing, right? And this is why I think that Diddy can probably beat this, or it might end in a mistrial, right? Because when you go to court, before you go to court, the prosecution and the prosecution has to share every single bit of evidence that they have against your client with you. They can't just in the middle of trial be like, ha, we got that. I would like to present this to the court and nobody else know. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have, you gotta be able to defend everything that the prosecution is throwing at you, okay? So either Diddy is an egotistical maniac, like they're portraying him to be, and he's really, you know, like really this narcissistic ass nigga facing 15 to life and he's rolling the dice, or he's looked at the evidence that the prosecution has with his team that's all shared between each other before the trial even starts, and he knows that they ain't got enough on him to prosecute him for this shit. That there's enough holes that they can poke in this to give you reasonable doubt and end it in a mistrial. It ain't what you know, it's what you can prove, okay? They went and raided every single one of this nigga houses. They claim they got all this footage and shit of people. But if he knew that there was damaging shit that could get him this 15 to life when it comes out, I'm sure he would have taken a deal by now. So either he knows and his team knows, because he's got some great lawyers, that they can beat this case or at least prove reasonable doubt to end in a mistrial, or he's a fucking egotistic maniac who knows that he's guilty as fuck and that all this shit, what remains to come out in the trial, is going to come out, and he's that narcissistic that he's going to try to beat the feds. This is not a state case. This is the feds, my nigga. You're going to prison for however long they tell you to, and you're doing 85% of that time. So 15 to life, that means you're not even eligible for parole until after 15 years of your life. Diddy's like 55, bro. That's going to put him at 70 years old before he's eligible for parole. So either, you know, I heard he got a 5-year plea deal and he turned that down, which if you know you guilty and you know some more shit is going to come out that we haven't seen yet, that's going to make your ass look even more guilty, and you didn't take that 5 and you want to take it to trial, hey, we see what happened to Tory Lanez. That nigga could have got 2 years and got 10. Don't beat it. Man, I want to give Diddy the benefit of the doubt that, yes, he probably is a narcissistic, egotistical maniac, but is he that stupid? Is he that stupid to where he can see all this evidence against him and he still don't want to take a deal, want to take it to trial? That remains to be seen, but he's got some damn good lawyers, and these 2 witnesses, if it goes anything like this, hey man, he might be able to beat this shit, and he damn sure is probably gonna get a mistrial. We will continue this story with more videos as they come out. This trial is supposed to last 8 weeks. Hey man, hopefully he can give me some new content. Yeah, I'm back on YouTube, man. Fuck it, they done brought me back. Tory Lanez done brought me back. Diddy done brought me back. You know, and I got a couple more videos for y'all, man. Hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow. Okay.